My name is Deepak. Uh, I'm in IT and SCCM from past 15 years. I have been working on Azure, GCP, and other cloud providers here and there. Uh, I started with SMS 2003, and after that we are seeing the journey till 2110 is the technical preview was out, and in today's session we will be seeing how to automate the SCCM stuff using Azure hybrid worker. uh, it is an interesting topic. Well, fair to be fair, we cannot cover everything in 50 minutes, but I'll try to cover as much as possible. And uh, I'll be taking questions at the very end of the this session, and you can ask me anything on after the session. If you have any questions, you can always reach me on how to manage devices community forum. You can I'll be in future, I'll be even writing a blog about how to merge, and you can find those blogs on www.anupsina.com under my name. uh, and you can even go to howtomanagedevices.com, stay hyphen connected, so that you can see what are all the other options to connect with us. So thank you everyone for joining first, and very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'll be starting with the session now with the technical stuff which we are waiting to. So this is the first slide where I wanted to take you at the initial stage itself, what it takes to implement Azure hybrid worker server and the groups, and manage your SSM infrastructure using Azure. So far I've been able to successfully implement this solution in my current profile, where there were a lot of human errors, and while configuring the deployment, some of our friends were selecting the device collections which had too many servers, and at the place of selecting workstations, someone selected server, and we can always go through role based access control. But I found this solution better because I can limit each and everything using Azure. uh, okay, and we will be seeing the options for managing hybrid worker environments. Automation involved both on premises and cloud. Okay, and this is a this is a centralized infrastructure, and this is describe the services that must be deployed to provide the automated management for the Azure hybrid worker. So as you can see on the screen, we have the architecture diagram of our on-premises and Azure. In the very right, you can see the Azure automation runbooks, and left it's our on-premises, where we have the runbook worker group and the local server and local resources available to sync. Uh, the very first thing is comes into our mind is the security. So it's all connected over TCP 443, which is HTTPS. So that should not be an issue from security perspective. Mm. This is the specifically design configuration for only for our understanding. It's actually it is really a little bit more over with the outbound connectivity, which we will be seeing in the next figure, which is giving the in-depth information how we are running how are the VM extensions configured? How is the hybrid runbook worker communicating? Well, we can have Windows and Linux, both the hybrid workers. We will be seeing only Windows. So because we are trying to automate things using SCCM to and via hybrid runbook worker to execute. Well, SCCM is already a well-known platform for automation, as we all know. But it's self-established over the years, and we are going to use specifically some of the triggers for patching and other things, which we will be seeing in the next couple of slides, which as we go over. Uh, the primary key point we here is if the specific scenario I'm giving for taking it on couple of the challenges we had in the past for from patching perspective, where we have everything static, there is nothing dynamic, you don't have anything fixed into your infrastructure, that when this particular server is patched, and what's the maintenance window for that. So now this is the option where it comes in, and uh, this worker hybrid worker is capable of fetching things for you from any other database, and like say you have a server list or a server database where you're managing, your organization is managing the inventory, and uh, this worker can go to the database, pick all the servers which you want to create the collection, and it can even also deploy the software update group for those servers after creating the collection. We have all those options available, but before that, let's see how the configuration is done uh, at the very low level. So right now, on the screen you are seeing is the how is the extension configured, how is the runbook worker communicating with the on-premises network and the Microsoft, where the shared capabilities comes into the pictures. This is the architecture first requirement, primary requirement. Before we go over, you need to have these components in place, and we can say more like prerequisite for our setup, which we will be doing in this session. So first thing you need is a log analytics workspace. If you are already running a couple of more services on Azure, like earlier it was called CM wrap, we call it now a risk assessment program, configuration manager. So if you have already configured, you will definitely have this workspace already in place. Uh, so it basically does is it's a repository for our log data which gets collected to run in Azure, and in other way we can say that it's just a way where everything is tracked, and we can specifically monitor, or we can say even we can specifically gather or pull the data using log analytics. So earlier in olden days, if we remember, we used to if we wanna perform the configuration manager risk assessment program, we will be getting a executable from Microsoft, and then we will be executing it into our primary or cache or primary, and it will generate a file which we will upload to the risk assessment program server of Microsoft. Then it sees what is configured correctly, and what is the recommended setting from Microsoft, and that's not in the place. And then someone from Microsoft in the backend reviews, and then they send you email that these are all the settings you have to change, because that is recommended by Microsoft. And then we see we get the instructions and then we change it into our infrastructure. Well, those days are good old days, but yeah, they are gone, and we don't have to do that much if we really want to perform this. So if you have log analytics already in place, or if you wanna set up and pull or perform this risk assessment, now you can this tool is uh, absolutely compatible and capable of doing it all on behalf of you. It syncs, it directly talks to your cache or primary, and it will already have all those recommended settings from Microsoft in place. And as soon as you run the report, that what is there in place and what is not, it gives you everything, and you can export it into Excel sheet, and you can see what's in place and what's missing and what you need to change. So that's about the workspace of log analytics. Now for automation, now the next will be automation hybrid worker solution. Well, we definitely need the this solution to run our worker servers. Okay, and the other thing you need will be automation account. We'll be seeing even how to do that, how to create the automation account uh, into Azure. Then yeah, once again you should have the hybrid runbook worker, which will be configured with the runbook workers, and it's called a hybrid runbook worker server, and it can execute the runbooks directly on the computers against the resource in the local environment, which is the beneficial we'll be seeing in couple of the next slides. Okay, the group where the hybrid runbook worker group, where we will see a collection of all the hybrid worker servers at one place, and it it will be used to scale the set of runbooks. The another benefit of this group is, suppose you have multiple domains into your infrastructure, and you don't earlier the option was cache, and now also it is still in place. But if you want to run or generate something in another domain, and you have that as another hierarchy into your infrastructure to deploy patches and SCCM infrastructure, where you can add all of those into Azure, and you can manage everything, all those domains from Azure itself. You don't have to log into each primary to configure. Azure hybrid runbook worker is capable of doing that. From it gives us the drop down option where in which domain you want to execute this runbook, and it just takes that as soon as we select, and it executes the runbook based on the domain you select. So that is another benefit of this. And then again, we will be seeing a runbook, which will be the collection of one or more linked activities that together automate the process or operation. Once again, you will be needing a VM in on premises, so that you can host your runbook worker there. It can be Windows or Linux. We'll not be covering Linux, but yeah, we'll be definitely touch base. We'll do the touch base with Windows. Okay. Now this is the most recommended way to set up whatever we are trying to do right now, is setting up your Azure hybrid worker solution with SCCM, where you can uh, run those runbooks, or you can initiate those automation tasks or jobs, as we say in Azure cloud language. Okay, so I think I already explained the log analytics workspace. You have to create then a solution and automation account. You will have to link that automation account to your log analytics workspace. You will have to deploy the log analytics agent so that it can communicate, and we'll be seeing that in a couple of minutes. And Then you will have to have the deploy hybrid runbook worker group and runbook worker server on premises Windows computer. Again, once again, Linux is optional. Okay, we will be creating the runbook, new runbook. We'll see how it's created. We will link our runners account to the runbook, and finally we'll deploy a runbook onto the hybrid runbook worker group. Okay. So as I said earlier, this is a huge topic, but due to the time constraint, we have 50 minutes. I'll try to cover as much as possible. I'll be taking questions at the very end of this session. If you forgot to ask something, once again I'm telling, if you don't have to worry about it. You can reach us to forum dot how to manage devices.com, and you'll be getting all your questions answered there. Okay. Yeah, let's create the log analytics. You just have to sign into Azure portal.azure.com, and you will have to go to the marketplace, and you have to go to the log analytics section, and you can, based on that, you can select the workspace based on the analytics you are trying to cover. You have to select the subscription for which you are creating from the drop down. If it is not appropriate, yeah, if you have only one, then that will be the only visible subscription for you. You should have the resource group. If you wanna if you already have a resource group created, you can use the same, or you can create new one for you, which is again gonna get a little bit of cost from Azure. Okay, you'll be giving name for your analytics, hybrid workspace, and whatever name you'd like to name it. Okay, you will have to select the location where you want to deploy, where you will have to select specifically the tier for the customization. And if you are creating, if you I'm to say, before 2018, it was not giving us the per GB pricing plan automatically, but now that's gone. We have that already available on the portal. And if you're creating for an existing subscription, so it will be tied to your enterprise agreement enrollment, and from there you can specifically see how it is cost. Don't worry about the details, because this PPT will be shared to you by Anup in the upcoming days. So what I have done is I have marked all the links which is needed for you to understand how it is getting configured, what you need to do to get configured, to configure these, and the prerequisites in the same PPT. So if you'll hover over the link, it's going to take you to the exact entire brief details, what you need to do or how you need to do. Okay. So yeah, after that, when you select the log analytics, you just click create. It gives you the workspace again, which the name which you used, like hybrid workspace, and your company name or your name if you're using. Well, I used hybrid workspace STMD forum. So we'll be seeing that as well. Now you are adding an automation hybrid worker solution. So you have to have a resource for that. And once you go to the Azure portal, and if you click on create resource from the marketplace, you can select the automation hybrid worker. And as you enter, the list is going to take your input, and it is going to select the automation hybrid worker for you. Then if you click create, and it is going to prompt you to link your log analytics workspace as soon as you click create. After that, it will be pretty easy. Next. That's it. uh, then now you will this is the important part, because this will be the account used into your into the solution you're trying to implement. So when you have the resource in place, and as I told a couple of minutes back, that You don't have to jump to all your domains. If you wanna deploy, or if you wanna manage, you can manage it from Azure, all your domains. You just have to make sure you have Azure hybrid runbook worker server in each of your domain, which will be communicating with your SCCM infrastructure, either primary or CAS, whatever you have. And uh, and when you are trying to execute any task like create a collection, which we can do it again uh, from runbooks, using the runbooks, then it is going to go to your SCCM, where you have hosted the runbook server, and it will try to create a collection for you. So why this account is important? Because you when you create the hybrid runbook server, at that time you are creating the automation account. You just need to make sure that the account which you are using has access to your SCCM infrastructure, so that it can perform the necessary task required, which you are passing it using the runbook. So that's why I said this is the little important part. So now you added the worker solution, you add created the account. Well, you can go to the resource, and you can go to the automation, and from there you can select the automation. Let me see if I have that somewhere saved. Yeah, I think after this we will be seeing that. uh, then yeah, as I was saying, when you go to automation, it you can select automation, uh, and you can select create. It is going to ask you the name. Use your either service account which you're using with your SCCM. It's going to ask the credentials, and once you enter, is going to create the account for you. When you create the runbook worker server, you can go back and select this account to execute the jobs from Azure in your SSM infrastructure. This will be the overview of the platform. These are all the workers. You can see there are two types mentioned here in the platform: agent based and extension based. We'll be seeing that as well. What is agent based and extension based? So there will be, okay, yeah. So this is what I was talking about, the automation account. So when you click on automation account, it gives you the option to create, and when you create, after that you can see the name. Under the name automation one, that's the account I created for us, so that we can use that when we will be managing the runbook server. uh, yeah, linking I'm not going to cover, because I already told how to do that at the time when you create your log analytics workspace. At that time, after that, you can go back to it. You can select from the filter, and you can select the automation account you want to associate. So this is not a big deal, because okay, yeah, I think I have already taken the example. So for example, I'm using hybrid workspace hyphen HTMD. That's my log analytics workspace, and when I click on that, we can specifically get option to link the account to it. Okay. Deploy a log analytics agent and connect to the workspace. You can specifically go to the extension, deploy the agent using the DSC you can use, or the PowerShell script, or use the resource manager template for VMs. Again, once again, I've given the article link where you can connect Windows computer to Azure Monitor, which is again a next chapter we will be seeing in future in our couple of coming events, which will be communicated to you well in advance, so that we can work on. And for non-Azure VMs, you can deploy both Windows and Agent. As Linux, we'll be covering only the Windows part. Physical or virtuals, and manual process or automated process. You should have 1.2 enabled, so that you don't have any problem in the communication. Okay, yeah, deploy hybrid runbook worker group and worker on the on premises. This is the main option where for which all these details we just went through, where you can specifically see. I have already given the link here for the prerequisite. When you hover to the link, you will be finding the Microsoft document how to do that. We will be covering in depth in our upcoming blogs of noobsina.com, so keep checking that as well. We'll be a little bit more in depth, we can say level advanced level 300, so that it is easy for you to understand. Now, how to deploy a worker role on a Windows machine in automated and manual deployment, we will see that very quick. So when you log in, when you log into portal.azure.com, you in the search box you can go and you can type your automation. Just type automation. It's gonna give you the automation account, and you can select your automation account which you are intend to configure the agent, so to which it's report. You will have to get your key from the account settings. You can copy that. You can specifically copy the access key and the URL which we'll be using in future for setting these things up. You can specifically switch. You can specifically switch on the Windows machine, and then go to the Windows machine, open PowerShell, and I think I've given the command cd program files agent, the version and the registration, and hybrid registration.pst. First we will be importing the module. Once you do that, you can execute the PowerShell script, add hybrid runbook worker, your group name which you used, and your URL which you just copied, and the key which you again just copied a couple of lines before this. And now create a runbook in Azure Automation. So it's a this is a simple process. When you go to runbooks, when you go, so you specifically want to run these run books from the local resource or your local computer. Okay, so when you add run book, uh, specifically you can create your own custom run books, PowerShell run books. There are I think four options: Python and .NET and PowerShell. Yes, one PowerShell and Python. So uh, either one which you feel comfortable, or if you don't want to create a run book, you want you want it directly from Microsoft. So there is an option. You can go to the runbook gallery just above the. Okay, yes. So you can see in the screenshot, when we click on runbook, it gives us option to create a runbook, import. If you have already exported it from any of your other Azure subscriptions, you can import that as well. You can browse the gallery. The gallery will have a lot of runbooks based on your requirement which you are trying to implement or trying to deploy. You can select it. These are all couple of examples we are seeing from the name. Auto stop, create alert. So these are all for alerting mechanism. Auto stop, disable something we are disabling using this runbook. And you can see tutorial, or you can see inventory. You can even pull the inventory using runbooks. You don't have to use these runbooks only for your SCCM task or automation. You can use it for other things as well. So so now you created the runbook, or you went to the runbook gallery, and yeah, I just came back to the previous slide because I wanted to explain what happens after you select the runbook from the gallery and you say it you want to start that. Okay, uh, so you just need to make sure that if you are using the hybrid runbook host machine and if it reboots, any open runbook job restarts from the beginning or from the last checkpoint of the PowerShell workflow runbook. And this happens a maximum 3 times. And if it's not successful, then it goes to suspended mode. Uh, so there are two ways to create or import in Azure portal. Search for the automation account, as I said, and list as soon as it lists your account, select it and configure the agent which you want to report it. And the process automation section, select the runbook, select create a runbook or import the runbook. The automation task that will run on your on-premises machines. And and you should be all set after that. So you just created your first runbook in your Azure automation. Run as account I already covered in the beginning. So now before running, you can specifically use your you can use select your run as account. So as I said, there you have 4 or 5 domains, and you specifically implemented. Yeah, before we discuss, you should not create use your primary arc as your runbook worker server. That puts a lot of load, and already your primary RCAS is loaded for other operations. So better you create a new VM or use a different server, use a test server to host the runbook worker role. And so that way it will not be eating all your resources from your cache and primary, and you will be not running into high CPU or memory utilization. So that's why it is well, it's not recommended, but I mean, it's nowhere marked as recommended. But yeah, being the SCCM guy, I created in the initial stage. I used the primary test size itself, and I was seeing a lot of utilization when we are running the jobs from Azure because it was eating up the resources. So that is why I'm suggesting use a separate server for your runbook worker server as your runbook worker server. Okay. Okay. So this was the first runbook test runbook, and you have option to test it in Azure itself before you run it on your server. I mean to say, whatever we are explaining, first you will be setting up your test infrastructure. I hope you don't go directly to your production and start doing uh, these operations, set up runbook worker server, and you start using Azure to initiate your tasks. I prefer you do it in your test infrastructure first, and then you move it to production. If you don't have test infrastructure, you don't have to worry, because you can execute your runbook as a test on the Azure portal itself, and you can specifically print the output. So right now you are seeing that the output, and it says that it's completed. You can specifically see parallel, non-parallel timestamps, which I think this is from old. We don't see this timestamp anymore. The screenshot I'm using is the old one. Now it just gives you the output, whether it's completed, failed, or you can even check the job activity or status. Deploy a runbook. Now you are deploying it, so you already set up. So you want to start that runbook. So first thing you'll have to go is go to the Azure portal, search again once again your automation account, select the runbook, click on edit, and you can use the test pane to test it. At the very right side blade of your Azure, you will see the test pane option, and you can change the value to run from the Azure to a hybrid worker, which you want to specifically input at the time of running it. You can use your as soon as you click on start, you can use your hybrid worker group for which you want to execute that. And uh, once you select the group, you can click on start test to observe the result of your runbook on the Azure portal itself. This is all happening right now on the portal. uh, Once you are done testing, you can close it and you can publish it. You will have to publish it so that you can link it to a schedule. Remember, if you're not publishing your run book, you won't be able to run it. So this is the important place where you have to publish it and you have to save it as a final version or you want to call it. Now, we already have scheduled tasks for scheduling when we have ADR deployment automatic deployment rule to deploy. Now why we are seeing this, because as I said in the beginning, you are having a separate database for your inventory. Uh, you want to there is no fixed maintenance window. So let's break it into this way. Uh, you have 100 servers, 50 are falling into auto patching, which is already defined and set, and obviously ADR is going to take care of that. It's gonna You already created a collection for the auto patching 50 servers. You already have the maintenance window set, and you're already having your deployment role uh, deployed as included the maintenance window for those auto patching servers. But for manual servers, which are the other 50 which left after the auto patching, now you will have to export those from your inventory, then come back to SCCM, create a collection. Since it's a static, add all your servers to that collection, then go to again to the SUG, select the SUG which you created for your patching job for that month, then distribute the content of the SUG and sorry yes, the software update group, and then deploy it for your manual servers. Where all these things are gonna go away uh, if you have Azure hybrid runbook worker server configured. You can integrate your database. You can ask your runbook to go to the database and take all those 50 static servers which are part of manual patching, create a collection for you again in the backend, and deploy the software update group. That's the main reason we are seeing this SCCM automation using hybrid runbook worker, because manual patching involves a lot of human errors. Let's even take me. I have either I'm deploying SUG to one manually patch servers. I will need another set of eyes which can do a peer review that I have scheduled everything properly. Well, now I don't need, because I will have my runbook to do that task on behalf of me, to check whether all the servers are manual patching servers, and I cannot add anything auto patching servers into manual, because your run book is going to your inventory database which you're using, like CMDB or any other inventory tool or assetting tool, and it is going to take those 50 server which are marked as manual patching into your database. So there is no chance of human error because it will not pick which is something marked as auto patching. It will only take those servers which are part of which you have defined into your inventory database as manual patching, and create the collection and deploy the SUG. So that's one thing is gone out from our list. which is called peer review. I mean to say, if I deploy to it to a collection for manual patching servers, I don't somebody else to come and confirm that I have only selected manual patching servers. By mistake, I did not add anything from auto patching. Uh, so now uh, we we use the run book to fetch the details. We create our run run books are look like. You can see I have a couple of run books. As example, I have grayed out the automation account because that's not our automation account. I want to say the one I wanted to use, so I have grayed that out. Yeah, so create monthly SUG, you can read that. We can even create the SUGs using the runbook worker server. We just have to define the interval, go and select patches whatever released between first to 30th of this month. It will go and will take all those patches. It will create one SCG for you. It will even distribute the content for you. We cannot cover all those. Yeah, but in the upcoming, as I said, in the upcoming, I'll be making it as a part two, and we can go over it for all of us so that we can see how it's all done. Anup will be communicating all those with us if we have any further. Uh, you can even create or add computer to your existing collections using your runbook. You can see I have been using that, create or add computer in the screenshot. I'm even creating SCCM applications using the runbook because it's easy for me. I don't have to define much things. This is how the runbook page looks like. So this is the actual runbook edition mode where I can edit it. I can specifically define the parameters. I can specifically even get the box like we have in SSRS. We create a report into our SSRS for SCCM, and when we are publishing, I'm saying when we are providing it to some other user who is asking, then we create a prompt into the SSRS to enter the values or the parameters. So suppose I created one SSRS report to find all the Dell machines into my infrastructure. I hosted it. I took the RDL, I hosted it, and or I wrote the SQL query, and did I I used the query, and I published the report on SSRS, and I made it as a report. And when I send the link and the user clicks the link, it prompts for the parameters. So I'm defining Dell or Lenovo or whatever he is trying to use. When he enters Dell, it gives all the machines which are built Dell from Dell. So the same thing we do with Azure runbook, where I can specifically create my own box. So what value we have to enter, and that's what you are seeing on the screen right now. So this runbook is for we have rules. I don't want to use, then I can use that output. Then I am collecting the web webhook is again a huge topic which we cannot cover in time frame, and I only have 14 minutes left, so I'll be speeding up a little bit. so that I make sure we cover all the technical details of Azure hybrid worker server and with SCCM integration automation. So you can see on the screen right now is I'm specifically defining the webhook name, headers, and you can see I'm using delete record SCCM.ps1 file. So the PS1, the delete record SCCM.ps1 will be there on your Azure hybrid worker server, and this runbook is going to call that on behalf of me, and whatever host name I enter into the custom made checkbox or parameter, it will delete that record. As simple as that. uh, okay, so this is what is how it's look. Start runbook, delete record. uh, Choose the hybrid worker group. So as I said, you can specifically run that on Azure, or you can use your hybrid worker. Now the group is what I was talking about, the other domains. If you have that, if you have multiple domains, and you know that this particular server belongs, you will be definitely knowing, because you will have the primary RCAS and you know where it is located. So from here, the hybrid worker group which you configured to communicate to that domain, you will have to select that from this drop down. And once you select and enter the name, the value, it is going to delete that record from that particular SCCM primary RCAS, whatever you have, the highest in your hierarchy. uh, these are all a little bit of group groups and system hybrid runbook worker groups. You can specifically see when it was last registered, how many number of workers are there into that group. There is no, I don't think so there is limitation on that. I never checked that part, that how many workers we can have into one hybrid worker group. You can specifically see when it was registered, 2019 I took this screenshot, and when it was last seen. So last seen time, if it is communicating actively with your infrastructure, you will see that time stamp. So you can see, okay, the communication and the connection is established and it's working. So now you have 1,000 of runbook workers, then you can groups, then you can come and you can especially search which worker group you want to choose, and you can specifically go inside that and execute. This is a very simple runbook example I wanted to show. So it is, I've used this because not only for SCCM, suppose, yeah, you can create a package or application to copy one file from SCCM, and deploy that, whatever files to the SCCM agents connected. This one specifically I wanted to use because I don't at this moment, if I don't want to use it, but I want runbook to do that. You can see specifically I have two custom made checkbox for me where it is asking for the source path and the destination path. The SM1 slash source is the source, and destination path is the target. So as soon as I click on start on the this red box is to initiate the runbook, and it is, you can see it's asking me the hybrid worker on which worker I want to execute it. So as soon as I select and say start, it is going to copy that file from the source to the destination. So here I did not use SCCM. I specifically used Azure only to perform this task for me. It's just one simple example how the source and destination path being typed into the custom box which we made for us. And once again, in the backend, the run book will be using its copy parameter variables, and it is going to fetch the files from the source path and dump it to the target which we have made and which we are defining as a destination path. Uh, this one. Okay, so my first runbook workflow, this I took so that any runbook status, you can say the red lines, it should say published, so that you can use, you can specifically run it. Okay. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this runbook worker setup. And yeah, quickly, if I have questions for us, which I can answer, I got 8 minutes to answer, and I tried to finish it up in 15 minutes. I'm 3 minutes over of the time, but I got 10 minutes for answer the questions if I have any. Let me quickly see if someone is asking so that I can answer. Okay, so okay, where do I?
That was an awesome session, Deepak. And we still have 2 or 3 minutes. So if there be any questions from the audience, Deepak is here to answer your queries. Uh, Let us know if there be anything or any clarifications that you want from this session. Otherwise, Deepak, it has been a wonderful session. Thanks for presenting it.
Hey, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Anup, for providing me the opportunity for this session. Yeah, over to then. Oh, I'll wait if we have asking someone is asking question, Jay, or I'm handing it over to you. I can just type it.